Welcome to episode 10 of the Fight Night Forecast, where we highlight, recap, and cover all things boxing. How you doing, Justin?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. We got a big show today, man. Real big show. Thankful for y'all tuning in for 10 weeks. Listening to us talk about boxing, man. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, seriously, thank you guys so much for watching, man. You guys make this fun. Yeah, so we're gonna start out with these recaps, man. We had a pretty big fight in the was it middleweight division, James? Carlos Adames.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this was actually at 160. Carlos Adames actually kind of, in my eyes, upsets Julian J-Rock Williams. J-Rock has a pretty good resume. This was bound to be a close fight in many people's eyes, but we had a controversial stoppage in the 9th round. Another PBC Showtime controversial stoppage. You know, we had the Rolly fight a few weeks ago. Now we have this one. To the ref's credit, J-Rock did get hit and was kind of shelled up, not responding, not throwing anything back. It just didn't look good because just as the ref was jumping in to stop the fight, J-Rock launched a jab and popped the dude's head back. So it happens, unfortunately. Maybe we'll see a rematch.
Yeah, both those guys were coming off a pretty good wins over their last fight, so it was kind of cool to see them kind of hit that collision course. They were bound to fight each other eventually. So yeah, I'd be down to see a rematch. And I know it's tough, man. It's tough because you get a little upset sometimes when you see those early stoppages or whatever. But at the same time, you know, it's tough out there being a ref. You know what I mean? And it's tough to have that all that weight on your shoulders being like, hey, I got to make sure both these guys walk out of here back to their family. You know what I mean? But also uphold the integrity of the sport, right? So the refs have a big job on their plate, and it's really not easy. But you know, you always got to remember the ref might be seeing something we're not seeing as the fans, right?
Right.
So you know, there's always something where it's like these controversial stoppages. It's not the same seeing on TV as seeing it live right there in the ring, you know. And those guys are in charge of making these big calls on the spot. I think we just got to give the refs a little more grace. In other news, man, we had a bout in the 168 division between Edgar Berlanga and Jason Quigley. This is Berlanga's first fight back off of a year-long suspension layoff. Last year, he bit a guy's ear. Yeah, he got suspended for a year for that. They were, you know, being pretty tough on that. They don't want to bring back another Tyson, you know. Yeah, so he's back. You know, a lot of people were a little upset maybe in some ways. They've, you know, seems like a lot of boxing media gave him a lot of dogging for not getting him out of there. He knocked him down 3 or 4 times, but quickly held on and went all 12 rounds. And but I think a lot of that has to do with just Quigley's a tough dude and he's no slouch, you know. But people are saying that they're not impressed with Berlanga per se. They think that, like, you know, if he was fighting elite level talent, that, you know, he wouldn't be able to size up. You know, people are kind of worried about his boxing ability a little bit. He's kind of more of he's very reliant on his power punching, you know, which he's got great power. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think people are thinking in their head, like, how does he match up with a David Morrell or a David Benavidez or a Caleb Plant or a Andre, all these guys, you know. I mean, in all reality, I don't think he beats any of those guys. I like Berlanga and I'm not hating on him, but, you know, I think he's not even in his prime yet. He's still really young. He's just got a lot to learn, I think. Yeah, but a dub's a dub. He got it. It's a pretty wide card, even though people weren't too happy with the performance. Unanimous decision, got him. Knocked him down a few times. I thought it was a pretty exciting fight. So, and then we had in the flyweight division, Joshua Franco lost his belt actually on the scale. He came in a little overweight. So, for you guys that don't know, when that happens, even if Franco wins, he doesn't have his belt. So it's vacated. He actually didn't even end up winning it. The Kazuto Ioka, he ended up taking it. He's kind of home turf advantage over there in Tokyo. So this is a rematch. And Ioka said that he vowed that he would make every punch count and get this win. So he ended up pulling it out. But yeah, so he's the new champ. So Yeah, I thought it was a decent little weekend of boxing, man. You know, it wasn't like any crazy big names, you know, but good weekend of boxing. That Adames fight, you know, Adames is really, I think he's starting to kind of make a big name for himself. I kind of want to see him fight, you know, like a, I don't know, Mungia, maybe like Mungia or something like that, because Mungia is kind of bouncing around from 68 to 60. You could probably fight either one of those guys. Berlanga, that could be a good fight for him. You know, a Mungia, two power punches. See how like kind of goes down there. What do you think?
I was going to bring up Mungia when you were talking about the Berlanga fight because there's been a lot of talk about that matchup, Berlanga and Mungia at
Yeah,
68. That Mungia is kind of in that weight class now at 68. He was in there with a tough Derevyanchenko. And
yeah,
yeah, it makes sense. Two power punchers. I think it would be exciting. I didn't follow it too closely, but I think there was some back and forth online between Oscar De La Hoya, who promotes Mungia, and Eddie Hearn, who promotes Berlanga. Basically, the Golden Boy was shooting down that matchup for whatever reason. Again, I didn't really read too much into it. I try not to follow Oscar De La Hoya tweets too much, uh, but I mean, from a fan's perspective, who likes that action-packed type of fight with two power punchers, dude, I would be down. Sign me up. I want to see Mongia versus Berlanga, see who comes out on top. I think it would be exciting. They're both at 68 now, so let's see it. And also to circle back to what you mentioned about Carlos Adames, yeah, he and those guys are kind of moving up from 154. I feel like there's been a lot of shuffling, people moving up as they age and whatnot. So 160 was a pretty hot division, and then a lot of people moved up. The face of boxing being one of them. So now all of a sudden, a lot of the guys that were at 160 are starting to make their way to 168. So that opens the door for guys like Carlos Adames, J Rock, and some of those guys that were at 54 to give us some good fights at middleweight. Yeah, we'll see what matchups come through down the pike. But to go back to what I said earlier, I think that that power punching matchup of Berlanga versus Mungia at 68 will be really exciting.
yeah, I think it will be too. I think it's. I think Mungia being at 68 too gives him a little more edge when it comes to having that power too. You know, I think I'm not sure what his net. I don't know. I guess he
He's
didn't
a
look.
pretty big boy. Yeah, he's a pretty big
Yeah,
boy. So I think, I mean, when he first came on the scene when he was really young, he was somehow cutting to 54. I mean, it was short lived, but it was just impressive because he just towered over everybody. And then, shortly after moved to 160, which made a little more sense. And then now, so I think he's getting back closer and closer to his, natural weight.
yeah. I think you're right. I agree. I agree. And so this kind of leads in perfectly to our question of the week. Back to my old ways and not letting James know beforehand what it is. But um, I think like I said last week, I really like seeing a genuine answer. You know, I like seeing the fear in your eyes when I say the words question,
Never,
because James never knows. Like, oh man, I don't know what this is about to be.
never.
But
Cool cucumber.
absolutely, absolutely. But question of the week, and this one might be a little easy for me. But what is your favorite division in boxing currently? I saw this also online. I was like, hey man, this actually sounds pretty cool. So yeah, what would you say your favorite division in boxing is? That could be anything from, so you can go as low as 108 to heavyweight, whatever you want. That should be like a bar there. 108 to heavyweight, baby. So what do you think, James? What's your favorite?
That's a good question, man. As of right now, present day, currently right now, 135 has been popping and 168. So right now, I'd probably have to say super middleweight. It's my opinion that Canelo is still the face of boxing. He is there. Some news we'll get into later with him signing to the PBC, kind of lining himself up for these next fights. It's
Yeah,
going to get even better. It's going to get pretty exciting in 168. Canelo had previously conquered that division with the champions were there at the time, 2001, I'm sorry, 2021 and 2022. But in boxing, the landscape changes. So I'm excited to see what happens at 168 here in the next year or so.
for me, man. So I was torn between I was torn between 47 and 68. Yeah, obviously 35 is popping. Could even say 140 in a lot of ways is popping now. But yeah, I'd say for me it's between 47 or 68. I think I'm gonna go 68 too. I'm gonna go super middleweight. I think it's got to be one of the most stacked divisions right now. Just with, obviously you have Canelo there, and then all the, like you said, change the landscape, all the recent move ups, man. Like now you got Andrade there, you got Big Charlo's there now. Obviously my favorite boxer, Caleb Plant, he's in there. But yeah, man, it's a lot going on in 68. Because even the lower tier guys, per se, Berlanga, all these guys are, Morel. I mean, it's pretty stacked division. And then, obviously you can't even discredit Benavidez. Benavidez obviously should be the runner up probably for fighting Canelo, but we'll talk more about that later in the PBC update. But yeah, I have to go 68 too. I'm a big fan of 4-7 though too, man. I like Jerron Ennis. I like, I mean, Terrence and Spence are still there. So it's like, yeah, I'm really not mad at boxing in general. I think they're doing a pretty good job of it's pretty well spread out. But yeah, I would say 68's got to be my.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
47 historically and just, consistently has been pretty exciting. Same with lightweight. So lightweight and welterweight are usually pretty good. But yeah, right now I think we're dialed in with that super middleweight division, which is good. This might be the first time that we actually had the same answer for question of the week.
Yeah, I think it is. Hey, we're making records here on episode 10, huh?
Let's go. Took us a bit.
It took us only 10 weeks to agree on something, but that's all right. That's all right. So for you guys that don't know, it's kind of been all over the boxing news. So we're just going to kind of chime in on our take of it. Canelo has signed a 3-fight deal with Premier Boxing Champions Showtime, Al Heyman. So I don't know the exact number. I've heard numbers thrown out like a little over 100 million is what that deal is worth, which is pretty incredible. I mean, that's a pretty big number. So the 3-fight deal, from what everybody's saying, is they think it's going to go in this order. Now, none of this is confirmed yet. I know everyone's saying like, oh man, he's going to fight Charlo next. I believe that is what's going to happen, but nothing. It's everything. If you look everything up, it says likely to be Charlo and likely to be September 16th. So they're saying they're thinking Charlo first, and then they're thinking Andrade after that, and then David Benavidez. I'm not sure how I feel about that order. James, what do you think? I want to hear your opinion on this.
Yeah, I don't love the Charlo out of the gate either. I hope that's not the case. It gives plenty of fuel to anyone that's skeptical of Canelo and his career or his matchmaking. We got to be consistent. If we're saying that Floyd strategically picked his opponents in the later portion of his career, we got to say Canelo does it too if he goes down this route. Jamal has been out of the ring for quite some time, hasn't been looking his best, past performances, and just, that inactivity is historically not good for boxers. As a fan, I would like to see the Benavidez fight. Benavidez is his mandatory, his WBC mandatory. Don't get me started on the whole sanctioning bodies, and especially the WBC. But yeah, I would like to see Benavidez. But the fact he signed a 3-fight deal, like you had mentioned, with these guys at the division, I think we're gonna get these fights. I can't demand all the fights that I want to see when I want to see them, but sure, line them up. Charlo, cool, get him out of there. Boo Boo can get his payday finally.
Finally.
He can prove that he's not a horrible fighter. And then, yeah, get Benavidez. That'd be awesome. So I think it's a step in the right direction. Yeah, man. Let's see it. Jamal, let's see Boo Boo and Benavidez. Let's get it.
Yeah, I agree. So I think that this kind of does show in a lot of ways that Canelo's not ducking Benavidez. People are like, oh man, he's about to fight Maul, man. He's ducking Benavidez. But I think, like you said, the fact that he's locked into that 3-fight deal, really shows a lot. I think they're going to try to probably build this up. I would have liked to see him fight Jamal maybe a couple of years ago, or after Jamal has a tune-up maybe or two. But I think that Canelo, if that's his route, he picked it right. I think his best bet to beat Jamal for sure would be right now. Like Jamal coming off of a long layoff. Obviously, the narrative with the personal issues or whatever he's having going on. So I think this is his best bet. Do I think that Canelo beats him even without all that? Probably, yeah. But I think it's a lot closer of a fight if you have a primed up Jamal Charlo who is ready and has been active over the past year or two. So then next, I would say I bet that Canelo probably fights Andrade, probably have like November, December, maybe something like that. November, December, maybe January, something in that line. I bet he fights him over the wintertime. So, get Andrade out of there. I don't know. Because that's what I hate. I like all these guys. Like I don't want to just say he's gonna run through all these guys, because Andrade, he's tough, southpaw, undefeated, also moving up from 160. But the only thing I'm afraid with Andrade is that I don't think he's fought a lot of big names, and a lot of people call Andrade one of the most ducked guys in boxing, and I could agree with that, in a lot of ways, because Charlo never fought him at 160. Triple G never fought him at 160. He was a belt holder at 160. And yeah, I think he causes a lot of problems, dude. He's an athletic in his prime. I think he's 31 or 32. So I mean, he's right up there with Canelo age-wise. So I don't think any of these three are easy fights, but I think the way it's going, I think it's going easiest with Jamal. Second from easiest with Andrade, and then third, I think they're going to try to do Benavidez in May, I bet, of next year, probably, right around Cinco de Mayo weekend. And I think it's going to be good. You got Mexican versus Mexican, power puncher versus Canelo puncher. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I think that's what they're going to set up.
Because Benavidez has been the WBC mandatory for quite some time. So I'm not sure how they work that out, business wise and all that. I guess that goes back to my original point where I'd like to see Benavidez next. But what are your thoughts? I mean, who would they put Benavidez in there if he has to wait a year to get Canelo? What do you think?
I mean, maybe Berlanga. That might be someone that Benavidez could probably get out of there pretty easily, I'd say. Or a Munguia. Yeah, it is. I guess that is cross-platform. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm just trying to think. People that and the problem is neither of those guys are necessarily a walk in the park either. 68 is tough right now, by all means. So I think a rematch with Caleb Plant is dangerous, for Benavidez. I'm not just because I'm a Caleb Plant fan, but
right. But do you think that Caleb did enough to warrant a rematch? That's the question.
I mean, he hung in there.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'll argue all day now, but but I mean, listen, he lasted all 12 rounds when a lot of people think he shouldn't have. I don't think Caleb Plant did bad by any means. I mean, listen, all my friends, bro, not necessarily you, but all my other friends, they were dogging me, being like, "Oh man, Benavidez is gonna knock Caleb Plant flat out. Caleb Plant doesn't light a candle to Benavidez, this and that, woo." And at the end of the day, Caleb Plant lasted all 12 rounds, showed he had a chin. And Caleb Plant wants to run it back eventually. He said there was an interview I watched the other day with him where he said, he's like, man, I want to run it back with Benavidez one day, and I want to run it back with Canelo rather. So, yeah, I think that's just the kind of guy he is. So I think, now that he's even been in there with him once too, I think that'd make Caleb even a little more dangerous. He's already felt Benavidez already. He's felt the power. He's felt that intensity or whatever. They squashed the beef that they had. So, yeah, I think that would be a dangerous rematch. I think Morrell. I really am starting to think that Morrell that is a high risk, low reward fight for Benavidez, especially just with the Canelo fight looming. Now like I said, we don't know if that's the exact order that those three fights are going to go in. So Benavidez could be first. I doubt it, but Benavidez could be second, man. You never know.
Right.
So, and it all just comes down to, boxing and how they work things out. I don't think, though, that it also, in the same sense, I don't think it's good that that Benavidez just sits for a year and waits, or over a year and waits for this either. I mean, this is going to be the biggest fight of his career, hands down. Biggest payday, biggest chance to solidify legacy. So I don't think he should sit for 14 months either and wait on this to happen.
Yeah.
So, but, or however long, actually, I think it'd be like 9 months, nine or 10 months.
Depends
so
on the Cinco de Mayo or the September date, but yeah.
Right.
Waiting too long, regardless.
Yeah. And, James literally said it earlier in the pod, man, he's, inactivity is not your friend in boxing, so I think this is great. I think it's great for the sport, especially that almost all these guys now are under the same house. So honestly, we talked about this off pod a little bit ago before we started, and PBC is kind of becoming a powerhouse, man. So for all of you guys that think Gervonta Tank Davis is the face of boxing, PBC pretty much has him, right? You got him. And then for all of you guys that are like, nah, man, Canelo is still the face of boxing and you will not change my mind. Well, PBC's got him. So for at least the next 3 fights. So literally has the 2 guys that everyone thinks is the face of boxing right there. On top of that, you got Charlo, you got Errol Spence, you got, Benavidez, Plant, Morrell, all these guys, Jaron Ennis. The stable is pretty impressive, honestly, So just kind of shout out to PBC and how they've really stacked the division. Kind of solidifies, I hate to say this to you, but I think 2 or 3 weeks ago we had question of the week. Rewind it, because I know a few weeks ago we had a question along the lines of who was your favorite, or who had the best stable, rather, who has the best stable of fighters between PBC, DAZN, and Top Rank. And I said PBC. So out of these 3 promotions, we got PBC, DAZN, and Top Rank. Who do you believe has the best crew of fighters? So I'm going with PBC. I think PBC has the best stable, man. No dirt on the other 2 because they all 3 of them have pretty incredible fighters, but my pick was the best. I'm the best. So.
It's aging quite well. Your pick is aging quite well. Good job.
And my TO pick ages pretty well.
Yeah, man. I'm going to consult you before I put the bets in, before I make my wager.
I know, man. Consult the Oracle, baby. Consult the Oracle. All right.
All right, guys. Just want to take a second to share a new product that I recently picked up. It's Regain Sports Drink. It's an alternative to, the leading sports drinks. What's cool about this product is it only has 4 ingredients. So it's coconut water, tart cherry, Himalayan salt, and this specific one has lemon juice. So this is actually my favorite here in my household. It's kind of the unanimous decision that lemon is the best flavor. They also have the lime. So again, good clean drink, very good option to reach for instead of the sugary Gatorades or whatever. So I just want to give them a shout out because I've been wanting to try their product for quite some time. Working with them was really easy. I got a case at the house. We're burning through it. I'm actually drinking it right now. So yeah, shout out to Regain Sports Drink. We'll leave a link for them if you want to go ahead and try it yourself. Justin, I know I hooked you up with a couple bottles. Were you able to try one?
Yeah, I tried it. It's pretty good, man. I did lime.
All right, cool.
Yeah. And I thought the lime was pretty good. I'm gonna try the lemon one next. So you got to if your household says that lemon is a unanimous decision, then I might have to give it a shot. I thought the lime was good though, and I think we'll put a link down below for you guys to go try it out. All the athletes in here that watch, or you just need to be hydrated in your daily life. Yeah, thanks for sending some product out for us to try. We appreciate it. What's going on, y'all? Thank y'all for tuning in to the podcast so far. Just want to take a minute to shout out our sponsor, Young Winston. They sent us these awesome hoodies. They sent us a little bit of other gear. Got this wallet. I think it's great. I love it. I actually switched my own wallet and use this. Really easy to use, sleek, nice, easy in and out of your pocket. Pull your cards out easy. I love it. They also have things like gold wrist chains. They have a backpack that I also use. It's got a very, very nice, convenient USB port so you can charge your laptop and stuff. It's great. Sleek, durable leather. Love it. Yeah, they gave us a discount code LTR5 for 5% off the entire site, whatever you want. Let's get back into the podcast, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Up and coming bouts. We got some good ones coming up. On July 1st, we have Jared Anderson, and they actually just that Zahn guy, he fell out due to an injury, or no, it wasn't an injury. He had problems with his visa.
Oh,
He couldn't get over to the United States. So they took Zahn Kosobuski guy, the Eastern European guy. He's out, and now it's Charles Martin.
oh, okay.
Filling in last minute. I believe Charles Martin, he's out of St. Louis. So
I thought he backed out because you kept mispronouncing his last name on the Fight Night Forecast podcast.
That's probably exactly what. But they're covering up the narrative, babies.
Yeah, it's a visa problem. Okay.
Yeah, visa problem. He actually's very mad at me because I just can't say his name. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're probably right, bro. That's probably exactly what it is. So, we have Jahai Tucker is fighting Nicholas Flaws on that. That's a junior middleweight. That's gonna be good. Tiger Johnson, he's gonna be fighting Jonathan Montrell. That's an 8-rounder in junior welterweight also. Yeah, so that's gonna be a pretty decent little top ranked card there. Some of James's top ranked buddies over there. Also July 1st, we have Savannah Marshall and Franchon Cruz DeZern for the super middleweight women's undisputed championship. That's gonna be pretty big there. Ben Whitaker is also on that card. He's an up and coming British boxer. July 8th, we have Imantas Stanionis and Virgil Ortiz. That's one of James's guys there. Mm-hmm. For Stanionis' WBA regular welterweight title. And then also the same night as that in the welterweight division, talk about 147 being big, Jaron Ennis is fighting Royman Villa for Ennis's IBF welterweight interim also. So that'll be pretty good. And then 15th, we have Frank Martin. He's fighting on the Nonito Donaire and Santiago card for the vacant bantamweight title. Frank Martin is fighting 12 rounds in lightweight against another guy that I'm going to butcher his name, but I'm not going to say it because I want him to actually follow through. And then the 15th also, and we'll go ahead and cut it here with 15th of July, we got Alicia Baumgardner. Then this is for Baumgardner's junior lightweight undisputed championship. So, and also on that DAZN card there in Detroit, Richardson Hitchens and Montana Love, they fight 10 rounds. They're also junior welterweights. I like Montana Love a lot, the Ohio native. And then we have another guy James is pretty big on, Andy Cruz. He's having his pro debut against Juan Carlos Burgos at lightweight. That's a 10-rounder on that same card. So yeah, got some big fights coming down the way, man. Obviously, we have Inoue and Fulton coming up later in that month too. And then we have on the 29th, we have Spence and Crawford. So yeah, some big names, man. We'll cut it there though, guys. We thank you guys so much for watching, man. 10 episodes. It's a pretty big milestone for us, man. We're pretty hyped on that. We're so thankful that y'all been listening to us for the past 10 weeks and all the love you guys are giving us and all the support and comments and likes and shares and everything. So let us know in the comments what your favorite episode's been so far. And please answer the question of the week down there also. Like, comment, subscribe, do everything you can right here along the bottom. Appreciate you guys as always. We'll see y'all in the next one.